Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I think we'll just go ahead and get started. Today, we are going to be looking at how graduates of a 2-year early childhood education diploma or a 3-year child and youth care advanced diploma completed at an Ontario college can further their education at Seneca and earn the honors Bachelor of Child Development degree. So first, just to start a little bit about the Academic Pathways team, we provide a number of services to help students continue their education at Seneca, whether that be with application information, learning about their pathway options. We do one-on-one virtual advisement sessions with students. We do a lot of information sessions around the college with different departments throughout the year. And then we also do larger pathway events like this one this week. Our institution offers a lot of exciting pathway opportunities into our own programs, as well as those at institutions beyond Seneca. We are the #1 college in transfer pathways, and we are proud to have a multitude of partners in the GTA, in Canada, and internationally. So before I go over the agenda for today, I'll just introduce myself and our panelist who is with us today. My name is June, and I'm the Inbound Academic Pathways Coordinator in the Academic Pathways Office at Seneca. And with us, we also have Shauna Lee, who is a Program Coordinator for the BCD degree, and she is going to be here to tell us more about the Bachelor of Child Development when we get to that point. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about why you should consider a degree at Seneca Polytechnic. We'll talk about the BCD degree in more detail and why it might be right for you. We'll go over the available pathways into BCD, where we will talk about eligibility requirements and we'll give some more details about course exemptions. We're also going to talk about a diploma to degree scholarship opportunity for students. And then we're also going to talk about how you can apply for the pathway into BCD. So just a little bit about the campuses where this degree is offered. First off is Newnham campus, which I'm sure a lot of you might already be familiar with, but for those of you who aren't, it is located at Finch Avenue and Highway 404 in Toronto. It's one of the campuses where this degree is offered, and it is also where the part-time BCD degree is offered. The campus has gone over a lot of different builds and enhancements over the last few years, and the biggest addition is probably the Center for Innovation, Technology, and Entrepreneurship, or SITE, as it's commonly called. There's about 274,000 square feet of space over 5 stories, and it brings together state-of-the-art technology with classroom spaces. Then we have the King campus, which is the other campus where the BCD degree is offered. It is located about 40 minutes north of Toronto on almost 300 hectares of woods, lake, and fields in York Region. Students at this campus study programs in the areas of applied arts and health sciences. So that would be like nursing, police foundations, and veterinary tech. A recent upgrade to this campus is the Magna Hall building, which is 200,000 square feet of state-of-the-art academic, student, and athletic space. So on both of those slides, we've provided links to the campus tours webpage on Seneca's website. You can do virtual tours of the campuses, and then you can also book an in-person tour as well. So you might be asking, why should you consider a degree at Seneca Polytechnic? So first, we offer specialized programs. Our degrees are career focused and aligned with current jobs in the labor market. Our professors and instructors are industry professionals who work in the field and are bringing current knowledge to the classroom. And they might also act as your industry connection when you graduate. Our class sizes compared to a university are going to be a lot smaller. So this ensures that your professors know you more on a one-on-one basis. They know your name. You're not just a number. You're not just a face in a massive crowd. All of our degree programs have at least one mandatory work integrated learning term that is required prior to graduation. And obviously, the importance of this is that you'll have some work experience to add to your resume, and it always makes you an attractive candidate when you're out looking for a job post-graduation. Our honors bachelor degree graduates are also eligible to apply to master's and graduate level studies, provided they meet all outlined admission requirements at the receiving institution. Our team hosts a Master's in Graduate Studies Expo annually every fall, and you'll have the opportunity to connect with institutions for more information about graduate studies, how to be eligible, and also how to apply. So now I'm going to turn it over to Shauna, who's going to provide some more details about the Honors Bachelor of Child Development degree.
Okay, thank you, June. Hi, everyone. It's great to have you here today, and I hope to answer any of the questions you've got about coming into the degree. One of the things I just want to highlight here about the BCD degree is there's a number of different reasons people come into it. But one of the things to highlight is because it does give a diverse range of opportunities career-wise, academically. And so we'll be looking at some of those detailed examples as we go. So the Bachelor, sorry, somebody just popped up that somebody was in the lobby. I'm just admitting them. So
Thank you.
the BCD degree, it is a 4-year honors degree. It has 8 semesters plus a full-time work integrated learning term that happens between semesters 6 and 7. And so there's a number of different reasons people come into this. It builds, for those of you who are already in the ECE program thinking about the degree, it builds on the skills that you're learning and expands them. So there's more depth and breadth and more opportunity as a result. So there is a strong focus on children's mental health, on social justice, family support, and family or child intervention. There is also a capstone research project that takes place over the final year where you're doing your own primary research based on a research interest or question that you've got. Many students use this as a pilot study before going into master's programs if they're wanting to do that. Others use it as a way to get questions answered that they've been curious about as they go. So, as I mentioned, it is a strong foundational degree. So, there's lots of opportunities for furthering education, for different career paths, and a range of different programs or opportunities to go. So, there is flexible delivery across both campuses, or sorry, Newnham campus and King campus. And we do offer it through Con Ed as well. And our degree is equivalent to those that are being offered in larger universities. So, as June was saying earlier, we've got really small class sizes. So we often will hear students that have gone to some of the larger universities where there's, 400 upwards to 1,000 students in an undergraduate class, and they're coming to our BCD degree because we're having usually between 20 and 40 students in a class is what we try and aim to keep it at. There's lots of opportunities for student engagement. So what you're seeing here is the image of the interaction. This is a industry recognized publication where some of our students publish their capstone research that they did in the 8th semester. There's conference presentations. I've had students that have joined me presenting at international conferences in Australia, in San Francisco, in Toronto, a number of different opportunities to present the research that they've done as well. We do have a student advisory committee where there's a bi-directional communication that helps to influence the program. So as students, we ask, what do you like and what do you not like about the degree, and what are some recommendations for change? We do the same with our industry partners to make sure that we're providing curriculum and content that aligns with what they're looking to hire as well, and answer any questions that you may have. There's a number of different work term opportunities. So the work integrated learning term, because students can go so many different ways in their career, students are responsible for securing their own work term with support of Seneca faculty. And they can use this as a time to specialize their knowledge, to pump up their resume a little bit before going into applying for grad programs or teachers college, etc. And there are opportunities. We've tried to build a number of opportunities for additional certification or credentials to be built into the degree as well. So as you're working through and doing assignments, you're also getting things that will enhance your resume further. So for example, the ASK workshop, which stands for Assessing Suicide Risk in Kids, it's a credential that looks at how do you assess and address suicide risk with young children, and there's a certification that goes with that. RERO, which is Reaching In and Reaching Out, it's a resiliency program both for educators and children. Again, you become a certified provider of that. And CANS, which stands for Child and Adolescent Needs and Strengths Assessment, it's a mental health assessment for knowing how and where to begin mental health intervention with severe or extreme circumstances. And so you get certification with that as well. So I mentioned there's lots of different things people do. One of the things I really like about the BCD degree is unlike other undergraduate programs where, let's say you graduate nursing, you become a nurse, you graduate police foundations, you become a police officer. When you graduate BCD, your Bachelor of Child Development, there's so many career paths that you can do. And so many students go on to do master's programs or teachers college. This list here is a variety of some of the master's programs that students have done, although it's not all. We've had people going into occupational therapy, Master of Teaching, Early Childhood Studies, social work, Bachelor of Education, counseling psychology, and infant mental health. Although we've got a wider breadth than that as well. And employment, we get a number of different paths as well. Some examples here, early intervention, licensing specialists, supervising parenting intervention programs for young parents, mental health infant mental health trainer working with Sick Kids Hospital, college professors, and parent support practitioners. One of the examples I'm going to highlight here just to show the diversity of what can be done with the degree. I'll actually give two examples here. One is we had a student once who was taking the degree, and when we were asking, what do they want to do moving forward, this student's interest was to become a firefighter. And we thought, well, why are you in the BCD degree? And he said, well, because in firefighting, when you apply, they like it if you have specialized knowledge. And a lot of people apply with specialized knowledge of, construction or being electricians, like things that help them in the actual fighting of the fire element of knowing the structural pieces. But he was recognizing all the things that firefighters are responsible for doing. And he talked about how many community involvement activities there were, going into schools, doing family safety events in the community, things like that. And he said, but it's very rare that people have child development knowledge when they're doing those events. So he thought it would position him really well. And so he that was his intention. Through his work integrated learning term, he was placed at King Township Fire Department and ended up being hired as part of his work integrated learning. So that BCD did help him directly to those goals. Another example I'll give is a student who was really interested in event planning and party planning, but she was also interested in mental health and mental health intervention, and she couldn't decide what to do. And so she did the BCD as she was trying to figure out where to land. And she ended up getting a job in downtown and Bay Street, where it's, the financial management stuff. And the employer that hired her for fundraising and event planning for mental health intervention dollars. So it was working with all the bankers, but doing all the stuff that she loved for the purpose that she loved. So we have a number of different faculty that are here, as mentioned. Um, it, sorry, I'm just distracted for a second, either in my purse or in my jacket pocket. Sorry, also working from home with a teenager that had a quick question and is needing to leave for work. Our faculty are fabulous. We've got a number of faculty that have all sorts of connections and experiences in a variety of professional capacities that help to complement all those different career interests.
Great. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about these pathways. So we have two Ontario College Diploma programs that pathway into an upper level of the BCD degree. You can see that information on this chart here. I'll just go over it quickly. So students who graduate from a 3-year child and youth care advanced diploma with a minimum GPA of 70% or a 3.0 will enter semester 4 of the BCD degree at the King campus in the fall term. And students who graduate from a 2-year early childhood education diploma, also with a minimum GPA of 70% or 3.0, are eligible to enter semester 4 in the winter term at Newnham or in the fall term at Newnham or King. So on this chart, you'll also find the number of credits awarded for both of these pathways, the number of the semester entry options, the number of courses remaining, and the number of academic semesters remaining to complete those courses. And then, of course, as we already mentioned, degree students are also required to complete one work integrated learning term in addition to their course requirements in order to graduate from the program. So graduates of the 3-year child and youth care, like I said, will receive a block of 14 credits from both lower and upper semesters of the BCD degree, and will follow a non-standard timetable to complete 27 courses over 5 academic semesters plus 1 work integrated learning term. We ask that, child and youth care grads might want to excuse me, they'll need to enroll in 1 online liberal studies course during their degree work term. And it's recommended that students also work closely with their program coordinator each term to plan their timetable, as some courses may be offered online or they might be offered at Newnham campus. For graduates of a 2-year early childhood education diploma, they will be awarded a block of 15 credits. And to complete the credential, graduates will be required to complete 26 more courses over 5 academic semesters plus their work term. Just a couple of helpful resources that we wanted to highlight here. The first is called our Inbound Transfer Guide, which is a guide you can find through the Academic Pathways webpage. And here you can see if your Ontario College diploma is eligible to pathway into this degree. So within the outlined pathway details, you'll also find several PDF documents, which are going to be very helpful to you. So if you are looking at the block map, this map will show you the full curriculum for the BCD degree, and then it will show you the courses highlighted in yellow are the ones that you would receive exemption from based on your incoming diploma, whether that be the Child and Youth Care Advanced Diploma or the Early Childhood Education Diploma. The completion plans will take the remaining courses that you have left to complete in addition to your work term, and we'll put them in a semester by semester plan that you can follow. It kind of takes the guesswork out of knowing what courses to take when. And the major reason for that is, degree courses are often not available every semester. A lot of times they have prerequisites attached to them that you have to complete one course first before you can move to the next level. So those plans take all of that out of the work for you, so you know exactly what you need to take each term. Some pathways will have more than one completion plan if there is more than one term of entry. So for instance, you might have a plan for, and if you start in the fall, and then you might have a plan for if you're going to start in the winter. So just keep that in mind. And then another area we want to highlight is our virtual pathways advisement booking system. So if you want to connect with myself or another member of our team to talk about the pathway in more detail, today maybe you'll think of some questions that you don't get to ask today. You can always make an appointment to chat one-on-one with us. We're more than willing to help you with any questions you might have about the pathways. And we've got a couple of QR codes on the screen here that will take you to our inbound guide and also to that booking system. To use the booking system, you just have to create an account. It doesn't have to be with your Seneca email. It could be your personal email as well. And then you'll be able to see what our availability is like. Okay, and as promised, we're going to chat a little bit about this scholarship. So this is a entrance award that's available to diploma graduates pursuing a degree at Seneca Polytechnic. It's open to all students, even regardless of whether or not you're eligible for a pathway. It is a one-time monetary award of $2,500 to graduates of any Canadian diploma program who have an incoming GPA of at least 75% or a 3.3. So the requirement for this scholarship is going to be higher than the requirement to qualify to be put in upper semester of this degree based on the pathway. This award is also open to international applicants who have completed a Canadian diploma program. So if you're an eligible student, you would apply through your student home account once you're enrolled in a degree at Seneca full-time. If you've got questions about this scholarship, if you're confused by the application process that's outlined, or if you want to see other financial awards and bursary options, definitely check out the Financial Aid Office website. There's a lot of really helpful information there, or you can connect with a financial aid advisor through the Service Hub. I'm just going to touch on the part-time Bachelor of Child Development as well. It is available on a part-time basis, so that would be evening studies. So this is a great option for working professionals who would benefit from, moving your studies to that time of day as opposed to during the day, Monday to Friday. The part-time program is open to eligible graduates of early childhood education. Um, To qualify, you must have graduated from that program with a 3.0 as well. And I just wanted to highlight that currently the part-time program is only open to graduates of early childhood education, not child and youth care at this time. You can visit the part-time studies webpage that's linked here on this slide for more information. You can also register for a virtual information session. So if you have more questions about how part-time studies works, how you register for courses, costs, things like that, that's a really helpful way of getting those questions answered. So in terms of applying for this pathway, if you're a current student in ECE or CYC at Seneca, or you're a recent graduate within the last year, in order to apply, you would complete and submit the Diploma to Seneca Degree Pathways Transfer form to the Service Hub. So there's a picture of the form on the page here, and also we've got the address for the Service Hub on the screen. There's no fee to apply, and you're not required to submit a copy of your Seneca transcript. However, if you're away from the college for a year or more after you graduate with your Seneca diploma, then you would be required to reapply to the college, and that's when an application fee would apply. In this case, you also wouldn't need to submit a Seneca transcript, as our admissions team would have access to a copy for you. So if you're a domestic or Canadian student who's been away from studies at Seneca for a year or more, you would reapply on ontariocolleges.ca, or OCAS as it's also known, and make sure you remember to select degree completion as your entry semester when you apply. That will let our admissions team know that you are applying to be considered for the pathway into the BCD degree. If you're an international applicant who has been away for more than a year, you would apply on Seneca's webpage through the international online application, and then follow up with the Service Hub to inform them that you wish to be considered for the pathway. In terms of deadlines, there's no hard deadline to apply to a program at Seneca. The admissions teams will admit students, as long as there's still space in the program, they'll admit them up until 4 days after classes start. However, it's always better to apply as early as you possibly can. So if you're a current Seneca student, I would say wait until you get to your final semester of your program to apply, as long as you're sitting at a 3.0. So if you're an external student who's coming from another Ontario college that offers an early childhood education diploma or a child and youth care advanced diploma, you would apply somewhat similarly to our students who have been away for more than a year. If you're a Canadian or domestic applicant, you are required to apply to Seneca online at ontariocollege.ca. And then also remember to select degree completion as your entry semester when you apply. International applicants will also use the international online application found on the International Admissions webpage, and then follow up with the Service Hub to inform them of your pathway availability or eligibility. In this case, if you're coming from another Ontario college, you will definitely need to submit a copy of your official transcript from your home institution so that our admissions team can see that you are in your final term of your diploma or that you've graduated with that 3.0. Again, deadlines, our admissions team will still admit you up until 4 days after classes start. But again, applying early, that way you can pay your fees, get everything set up. So when course enrollment starts for your first term, you'll be ready to go to select your courses. And then if you are an ECE grad who is looking to start the part-time program, you can find out how to apply by reviewing the entry requirements outlined on the program webpage. So that's the first link that's on the slide there. Interested applicants will need to complete the online application form, which we've also linked on this slide. If you're a non-Seneca diploma graduate, you will be expected to submit an official transcript as part of your application. There are application deadlines for part-time studies. So we've got those on the slide as well. If you're looking to start in January, you would need to apply by December 1st. If you are looking to start in May, you would have to apply by April 1st. And if you're looking to start in fall, you would apply by August 1st. So if you do sign up for that orientation session that they do for part-time students, they will reiterate all this information as well. And you can ask any questions that you might have about the application form and how to get your transcript in if you need to. Okay, so that about wraps up the session. But before we go, in addition to making an appointment with myself or another member of our team through the booking system, you can also send us an email. You can also phone us if you have just a quick question and you don't want to wait for an appointment. We'll get back to you within a day or two or fairly quick with our responses. We've also got our social media handle there. So if we've got any important events coming up that you might be interested in, that's one of the first places we'll begin promotion, as well as updates to pathways, new pathways that are coming down the pipe. It's a good place to stay on top of what's happening in our department. And then if you've got specific questions about the BCD degree, we've got some information for you to get in touch with the BCD contacts, including Shauna. So if you follow that link for full-time, you'll see the coordinator's contact information. And then if you are a student interested in the part-time program, but you've got questions, you can reach out to our part-time BCD contacts at the link that I provided on the slide. Thank you so much to everybody for coming here today. I hope you found this really helpful. At this point, we would like to take your questions. So you can just stick those in the chat and either myself or Shauna can assist you with those. And if you want me to flip back to any slides, I can do that as well. That's not a problem.
As we're waiting for people to
Mhm.
post in the chat, I'm just going to reiterate your comment about applying early and give another level of context. So at King Campus, we it's hit and miss on how many students are interested in pursuing at King versus Newnham, and so we rely on those early registration or early interest expressions to know, are there enough people that make it
Mm,
valid. So the sooner you can get, the stronger it makes the voice of the interest for King that semester.
perfect. So one question that we do get while we're waiting, I think we've got somebody typing a question I can see. One question is about GPA. So if you're getting close to graduating from either your ECE or your CYC diploma program and you don't know if you're going to quite hit that 3.0 GPA, now might be a good time to connect with your student advisor for your diploma to discuss your next steps. It could mean that maybe you need to stay for an extra semester and retake some diploma courses to bump up your GPA before you graduate. They are quite strict with that minimum GPA of a 3.0 or 70%. If you've already graduated recently and didn't quite hit that 3.0, that doesn't mean that you can't come back to retake courses. You can. Again, it's a discussion to have with your student advisor who you can connect with through the service hub. It just means that your graduating GPA that's on your transcript, that will never change once you've graduated. But you can come back and bump up your program GPA so that our admissions team will see that you've retaken some courses. If you've done better, they will look at your program GPA, which will include the better grades. So hopefully you can bump it up that way. So there is a possibility to redo some courses if you need to, if you're serious about joining the BCD degree through the pathway. So I've got a people who have put up their hand. I don't know how I guess I can allow the mic here. Okay, we'll start with Corey. I don't know if that worked. Hang on.
I think he'll need to unmute
Oh,
himself
hello,
there.
Oh, I
hello,
can hear.
hello.
Yep.
There we go. Hey, I just have a question. Is this presentation going to be online on your YouTube or?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So by
Okay,
next week, we'll be sending out an email to students, to all students, where you can find a link to the recording. So it's basically just going to be on the event page where you would have registered for this event. But yes, we will make it available for everybody. All right, hang on. We've got another one here.
thank you.
No problem. Okay, Eleanor.
Hi there. Sorry, I
Hi.
wasn't able to message in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Question about the work term. Is that like a placement during the semester, or is it just separate?
No, It's separate. It's different from placement. So we do have placement 1 day a week in fourth semester with kindergarten age children, typically in a school setting. In fifth semester, we have a 1 day a week placement in a community setting. So it could be anything from a hospital to a food bank to a research institution, a number of different things. The work term is different. It's in between sixth and seventh semester. It's 4 months full-time work. So 14 weeks of full-time work every week in that 14 weeks. And it's different from placement in that your employer is the one that's evaluating you and supporting you in different ways. So you set goals for yourself in that way, but it's completely between you and your employer on how things play out. And so it is quite different from the placement capacity.
And what semester did you say that's in?
It's in between sixth and seventh.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. For those, if anybody is here that has been working for some time and are thinking about doing this degree, if you do have 4 months full-time consecutive work, so it's not good enough if it was like 3 summers in a row where it was parts of time. It has to be 14 weeks consecutive, full-time hours every single week in a related sector or field. You can apply to have prior learning assessment recognized or apply, and then you might be able to bypass that work term if you meet the criteria.
Great, thank you. So we've got a question about when is the BCD program going to reopen at King?
Okay, so it is still open at King. It is always open at King. We often, in the winter semester particularly, we don't get enough enrollment of interested people. So often in the winter term, we don't offer an intake, a fourth semester intake, but we typically do every fall. And so this coming fall, we're anticipating a fourth semester intake as well. It's typically only the winter term, and it's not even every winter term. It's just, it has happened, I think, 3 times in the last 15 years.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
So that does raise something, though. We have seen often errors on the application portals that are used, where sometimes it doesn't reflect King as an option. King is an option. So if you're going in and you're not seeing that as an option for the fall semester, please email myself or June. I don't know if it's appropriate for them to email you
Sure.
as well.
Yep. They can definitely reach out to us too, for
Yeah,
sure.
let us know
Yep.
so we can get that fixed as soon as possible. We have run into that a few times.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we've got a question from Yasmin. Just give me one sec here.
Hi, can I ask my question?
Yes.
So I have two questions. One of them is I'm domestic student, and I'm in my fourth semester from my ECE, and I'm not sure yet that I want to continue this BCD, but because I don't know what's the difference between if I continue to the BCD and then after going to the work, and then because my goal is opening one day, opening my daycare, and then actually this is my goal, but I don't know what's the difference between if I get to the BCD and then is there any difference for, I mean, the salary? Is it a difference between these two or not really? So
Yeah, so there is a big difference between the diploma and the degree. What you would typically feel is in fourth semester when you come in, the content will feel quite familiar. The university level expectations will feel quite different. And so there is a bit of a bridging semester when you come in fourth, because some of the students start right in first semester without that pathway. And so for them, the content is new, but the university level standards are familiar. So in that fourth, when we join those two kind of threads of people, there's a bit of a getting familiar with everything that is expected. So you would feel some familiarity. For example, in ECE, you would have had maybe 2 or 3 weeks in third semester where you looked at attachment relationships with children. In the degree in fourth semester, you have a whole class on attachment. So that's one example, right? Now, in terms of payment, depending on where you're working, what you're doing, typically an undergraduate degree allows you to get access to a higher level pay grade. Now, that being said, you said your goal is to open your own setting, your own center. So logistically speaking, you don't have to have a degree to open your center. You can do so even without a diploma, actually. You can operate your own childcare center if you hire people with those credentials. What it would potentially do is give you a broader range of understanding of the types of challenges children and families are experiencing, so that if you're operating that center, you have a better understanding of how to support them, how to connect and collaborate with different community partners in a much deeper understanding than when you get an ECE.
Okay, great. Thank you. And another, do we have time to?
For another question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, thank you. And then because I'm in domestic, and then I have there's a due date that is August. Everything has to be done by August 15, right? And then I have after I'm graduate, I have to be going to overseas flight, and I have been not here. I mean, in Canada for just 1 month, so um if I in my overseas, I'm in Germany, can I do the like kind of the getting ready to the BCD, or it has to be here?
You'd be able to prepare to get ready. The courses are delivered hybrid, and typically the first week or 2 weeks are done in person. So if you were in Germany in the first 2 weeks of the semester, you would be missing those 2 classes. So that would be something that you would need to communicate with the professors for that time.
Does that help answer your question?
Yep, thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, well, I don't see any further questions have come in. Oh, we've got one. Okay, give me 1 second. Hi, Sova. You should be able to unmute yourself.
I'm trying.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you.
Go ahead, Selva.
Oh, I think you
Oh,
muted
she
yourself
muted
again.
again.
Try unmuting yourself.
Okay. I'm Selva. I finished EC diploma in 2022 April. So I still can do it, right?
Yes. Yep, as long as you meet that GPA requirement, for sure.
Oh, okay. So I need to apply to the college or to the Ontario College?
Are you a domestic applicant or
I'm
international?
domestic applicant.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
you
then,
told me before.
yeah, you would have to apply on ontariocolleges.ca, and then just make sure to select degree completion. So our admissions teams know that you're applying to be considered for the pathway. But as a Seneca graduate, you don't need to worry about uploading your transcript or paying for your transcript, because our admissions team will be able to access that.
Oh, thank you. How the courses are delivered mostly? I'm currently working. Is online or hybrid? How the most of the courses are delivered?
So most of them are delivered hybrid, which means there's a 50% component that you're required to be in person in class, and 50% that's online. Of that, some of those are online synchronous, where you're required to be present in the online environment at a scheduled time, and some of that is online asynchronous, where you're not required to be present, but you're required to do the work in between the weeks. For many people who are working, if you're working full time, it might be something to consider doing it in the evening through continuing education.
So that means part-time?
Yeah, so you would do it in the evenings. The courses are between 7 at night and 10 at night, and that allows you to work full time during the day and do a course or a couple of courses in the evening.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. So some good questions today. Thank you, everybody. Okay. I don't see any coming through in the chat or anybody else with their hand up. So like I said earlier, the recording of this session will be made available to students next week. So if you're a Seneca student, expect an email to your My Seneca with a link back to our event page where you'll be able to watch any of the sessions that we do this week. So if you wanted to take another look at what we discussed today, you can certainly do that. And then of course, if there are questions, you want to make a one-on-one appointment with myself or another team member, you can definitely do that, or you can reach us by phone or email. And then any program specific questions about courses, things like that, the work term, that kind of thing, you can reach out to the contacts for either the full-time program or the part-time, and we've got links on the screen to both of those. Thank you so much, Shauna, for being here with us today. We always appreciate your support and for providing some really interesting information, especially about those students that are kind of thinking outside the box and doing some really interesting things with this degree. That's great to hear. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we'll talk to you all soon, hopefully. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.